Spartans, my brothers in arms, we are once again on the brink of battle. Once again, our enemies draw near. Once again, the shadow of war looms over us. But before you sharpen your spears and tighten your shields, I want you to listen carefully to what I have to say. For the words I will speak today are not only about the battle that is to come, but about the battle that each of you faces within yourselves. You know, as well as I do, that the external war, the one we wage against our enemies, is only half the fight. The other half, and perhaps the most important, is the one we wage within our hearts, within our minds. This is the battle against ourselves. And today I want to speak to you about this fight, about the importance of recognizing our faults, our weaknesses, our mistakes. Many warriors fall not because of the enemy before them, but because they ignore the real enemy they carry within themselves. This enemy, my brothers, is made up of our weaknesses, our defects, our fears, and ignoring this is the first step to defeat. Not recognizing where we are weak is like going into battle without a shield, expecting our strength to protect us from everything. But I tell you, strength is not enough. To be invincible, a warrior must know his weaknesses as well as he knows his virtues. Each of us has negative points. There is no man among you, not even me, who is without flaws. It could be pride, which blinds us and makes us act recklessly. It could be anger, which leads us to attack without thinking, without strategy. It could be fear, which whispers in our ears, making our hands tremble as we hold the spear. And all of these defects are dangerous if we do not recognize them. I want you to think about this now. Stop for a moment and look inside yourself. What is the weak point that each of you carries? Where are the flaws that, if not confronted, could lead to your downfall? It could be an explosive temper that makes you lose control in battle. It may be hesitation that paralyzes you at the decisive moment. Or perhaps, for some of you, it is overconfidence that makes you underestimate the enemy. Now, I will tell you something that may seem strange at first glance. These flaws do not make you weak. They make you human. The real problem is not having flaws. The real problem is not recognizing them, and even worse, not facing them. Many of you may think that you have no flaws, or that your weaknesses are too small to matter. But I tell you, soldiers, a flaw, no matter how small, can be the difference between life and death in battle. A chink in your armor, no matter how small, can be exploited by the enemy and destroy everything you have built. That is why we must face our flaws head-on with the same courage with which we face our enemies. Be honest with yourself, warrior. Look within yourself and recognize what needs improvement. Do not be ashamed of your flaws, but use that knowledge to strengthen yourself. For the true strength of a man lies not in his muscles alone, but in his ability to learn from his mistakes, to improve himself, to become better every day. Spartans, you are already the greatest warriors this earth has ever seen. But even the best can fail if they ignore their weaknesses. I do not ask you to be perfect. That would be impossible. What I ask is that you be aware. Know your limits and be willing to overcome them. There is no shame in recognizing that we have weaknesses. The shame lies in pretending they do not exist and allowing them to defeat us when we least expect it. Now imagine yourself in the coming battle. The enemy before you is relentless. They will attack with all their might, and you will respond in kind, with strength, courage, and determination. But what if, in the heat of battle, you are confronted by your own shortcomings? If that fear, that pride, that hesitation rears its ugly head, will you be ready to deal with it? That is why today, here and now, you need to make a commitment to yourself. A commitment that you will not only trust in your strength and ability, but that you will be prepared to face the enemy within. This enemy, which can be more treacherous than any sword or spear, can only be defeated by self-knowledge. I want you to be able to face the enemy out there with renewed strength, not just because of your muscles or your skill with a spear, but because you know your weaknesses and are prepared to overcome them. A true warrior is not one who never makes mistakes, but one who learns from each mistake and rises stronger. Each of you has a weakness that you can turn into a strength. If your weakness is fear, use it as fuel to become more courageous. If your weakness is anger, turn it into a controlled, precise, and lethal weapon. If it is pride that holds you back, Then humble yourself before your own limitations and allow yourself to grow from them. Remember, the enemy outside can be defeated with swords and spears, but the enemy within us can only be defeated with self-knowledge and discipline. If you learn to master your weaknesses, to identify them and fight them, there will be no force in the world that can stop you. No army, no matter how large, can defeat a man who knows himself, who recognizes his faults and faces them with courage. You Spartans are known for your strength, your discipline, your unwavering courage. But today I tell you, what will make you truly invincible is the ability to recognize your faults and transform them into strength. You are not defined by your weaknesses, but by what you do with them. The battle outside is merely a reflection of the battle within each of us. If we conquer ourselves, we will be one step closer to defeating any enemy. So, my brothers, before we march into this battle, make a silent oath to yourselves. Recognize your weaknesses, face them, and emerge from this battle not only as victors, but as better men. Because that is how a Spartan lives, and that is how a Spartan dies, with honor, with courage, and with the strength of those who never shied away from their own flaws. Today, we will fight. We will shed blood and sweat, but above all, we will conquer. Not only the enemy before us, but also the one we carry within us. And when the day is done, may we look in the mirror and see not only warriors, but men who know their flaws, who have faced them, and who have emerged stronger for it. For Sparta, for victory, both internal and external.